For those of you who did respond to my extra credit opportunity, thank you. I have sent you a Zoom connection information with passcode, so make sure you look at that in your email. I have 2 more slots available, one for Saturday and one for Thursday. So if anybody wants those, it's a first come, first get. You have to just send me an email and tell me which day you want. All right. And I will give you the extra credit, obviously, after you sit in on the session. You don't have to do anything. Literally, you are just going to connect, and the speakers are going to be taking over and going through the process. And so I'll be moderating it, etc. All right, so today what I want us to do is to remind you that you do have your 4 grade, your full sentence outline with a minimum of 1. My recommendation is to have 2 sources in your reference list, and that both of those are actually talked about inside your speech. So the first one is obvious. It's going to be the Aesop fable. And the second one can be anything that I talked about as examples on Monday's lecture. So if you did not see Monday's lecture, please look at that, because I went through a whole lot, and you are expected to look at it. I went through a whole lot of ways of really enhancing the introduction of your speech to make it really more powerful and more engaging from the very beginning, and also how to add more sources in. So it's not enough to list it at the end of a speech. You need to, if you list it at the end of the speech, you should be using that data inside your speech. And remember that you always say the who, the where, and the when. So let me review that again. And it's a formula. It's the attribution formula. And it really goes like this. You can change the words, but this gives you the feel. So according to, and then you're going to fill in the blank, in, fill in the blank, on, fill in the blank. All right? And then you're going to say whatever it is that this expert or the person you're quoting or what have you says. You can do this at the end. You can do it in the middle. You can do it anywhere. You can, a lot of freedom in how you juxtaposition this, but the first time you give a source, you have to have all 3 elements. When you refer to that same source again later in your speech, you only have to refer to the name, all right, the author. When you give longer speeches, you might refer to one specific chart or graph or statistic or report and pull out multiple pieces of information from those documents. But the first time you mention it, you have to say all 3 points to the attribution. And then later, every time you refer to the same document, again, all you have to do is just give the title of the document or the author of the document, only one of the items. All right? So what you're going to fill in is going to be the who, all right? The in is going to be the publication, all right? And this is going to be the date, all right? Now the date might be when it was published, or it might be if you're accessing it in a database online, then you would just say the date that you accessed. All right, so that's what we're talking about. If it is a statistic, if you are going to quote a statistic, you must give a date for the publication, because you may have accessed it yesterday, but the statistic, the data that generated those numbers may be 10 years old. So your audience is always going to want to know when's the date. So you've got to always be specific when you are referring to any kind of a number, a quantitative element. Think of this as your statistics, think of this as your economics. You got to give context to any of that kind of information for it to be valid, all right? Now, the publication could be something like on their website. It could be in the American Association of Psychiatrics as a journal. It might be in Communication Monographs, a journal. It might be the New York Times, all right, a newspaper. It might be on CNN website, all right? So that's what we mean by where. Okay, where is it made public? And that's what we mean by publication. When was it made public for your eyes and other eyes to see? All right, so that's when we're really looking at, where was it made public? Where can we find it? All right. And then the who is obviously the author. Now, the author could be a person or it could be an entity. All right. So if you're using the latest statistic from Johns Hopkins University, you could say from Johns Hopkins University, or you could say according to Dr. Philip Rogers of Johns Hopkins University. All right. So you have to figure out, especially in your later speeches, if you have to qualify the speaker, all right, which means you have to give your audience the credentials. So if I quote Gandhi, show of hands, everybody raise your hands if you know somewhere from your history who Gandhi is. Raise your hands. Yes, all right. How many of you know who Martin Luther King is? Raise your hands. All right. How many of you know who Abraham Lincoln is? How many of you know who Greta Thunberg is? Oh, get out. That makes me so happy. Very, very cool. All right, I'm shocked. My generation probably wouldn't know. Who knows who, I don't know, somebody, okay? So if you don't think the audience knows who that person is, then you have to qualify. You can't just say, according to doctor, because you can quote my husband as Dr. Richard Kruska, but he's not a medical doctor, so you don't want anything from him coming from a medical perspective. So you have to qualify, he's a doctorate of education for social justice. Okay, so you got to do that kind of stuff. Any questions? Because I will be grading hard on that. Each one of these is a point on your outline. All right, so if you are missing those, then you're going to have a -3 on the body of your outline automatically. Okay, but you need at least one source that will have all three. Of course, you've got the fable for that. All right, good. All right. Now, the next thing I want to talk about are details and descriptions. Okay. This is where many of you will struggle, especially if your personality type is you get in, you say it, and you leave. All right. You are straight to the point, don't miss words. What you see is what you're going to get done. Sometimes people with that kind of a communication style have difficulty in doing the section in your personal narrative, all right? So let's review very quickly. You have in the top block, remember, this is your introduction. Look how kind of small it is, okay? But it's small, it's larger than the block that we're going to do for the Aesop fable. It needs to be in your own words. Don't copy paste. Copy paste is going to turn your safe assign way crazy, and that's going to be a problem because I want you to translate it. I want you to put it into your words, okay? So it's going to be small, all right? And then this is the size of main point 2. So main point 1 is the Aesop fable. Main point 2, and those should be labeled. Main point 2 is, you're going to say, my story. All right? And this is the one that you really need to use details and descriptions. You want your audience to feel, to experience, to be in your shoes for what was going on, right? And don't forget, no repeats on fables. So go in and call dibs on your fable. Quite a few people have already said which ones they want. Don't take anything that somebody has already given, all right? It's already called dibs on. All right, so let's take a look at this. And we're going to do that with some practice. So I am going to show you a picture, all right? And it's going to be through the computer. And I want you to look at this picture. I may have to dim the lights a little bit. And you need to, in a piece of paper, so everybody pull out a paper. You got to do the old-fashioned way on this one. Now I'm going to show you a series of pictures. And what I want you to do is to describe what you see. Now, when you are doing a description, you want to use lots and lots of adjectives. You guys remember this from English classes. Adjectives are descriptions for nouns, people, places, and things. But you also want to use adverbs. And those are descriptors, of course, for verbs. Now, the reason you're doing those is because instead of saying, she walked through the door, you would say something like, the old lady. She walked in to the classroom. Gingerly was opening the door, peeked her head through, looked at everybody. She had a cane that was clearly not really helping her very well as she shuffled her feet. And as she came in, she looked at the class and she said in the loudest voice that she could, "Fire." All right. So you get a feeling there, right? It's an old lady. She's not real energetic or active. Her body language belies something as scary as could be the fire, and that could be all part of the buildup of a story that you're going to be giving. So you want to, because you're going to be acting it out, all right, as well as you're going to be verbally saying this, okay? So adjectives and adverbs, lots and lots of details. So I am going to share my screen and this. Then what I'm going to do is pull up my file. I have a few pictures, not a lot, but enough to make it pretty interesting. Can everybody see that? What are you seeing?
A tree.
A tree. Very good. A tree? Come on. Now, on a piece of paper, I want you to describe what you see. But I don't want you to just say a tree. So right now, I'm going to give you a good 1 minute to describe that in writing. Don't say it out loud, just do it in writing. So everybody go, 1 minute, start describing it. For those of you watching this on your own computer at home, you should be doing this activity as well. All right, stop. Oh, look at my person right there in the middle of the classroom with his head in his hands saying, oh, I don't want to be doing this. Okay, I'm just teasing you because that's how many people feel about this, okay? So let's start with you. What were the words that you used to describe the tree? And shout them out loudly so people can hear through your mask, okay?
I thought we were describing the picture, not the tree.
Correct. Excellent. So describe what you said.
Okay. I said it was a tree on a cliff near an ocean with the sun setting behind it with a mostly clear sky.
All right. All right. All right. That's the description. And we got more detail than just seeing a tree. So we got a picture of other elements. Good job. All right. Who has something that you could add on to that description? Okay, good. In the back of the room. Yes.
I said that the limbs have, the tree has no limbs on the bottom half. And
Good.
also said that it looks like you.
Okay, good. Very good. Who can add to that? All right, good. The way back by the door.
I said there's also a sunset in the background and the sky is partially cloudy.
All right, good, 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 good. Yes, and who's got more that you can add? Anybody? Yes, good. Ksenia?
It's a sunset, so not right.
Okay, all right. So, does anybody, okay, at the bottom of your little thing that you just wrote there, what's the feeling that you have when you look at that picture? Okay, what feeling comes to mind? Shout out any feeling. Calm. Okay, somebody looks at it and sees calm. Does anybody look at it and see something different? Yeah, no? Okay, all right, I'm going to pull it back up again. Now, I want you to think about what you're looking at. And I want you to, now on your paragraph, I want you to just add some additional words, and what I want you to look at are more adjectives, more adjectives. What colors do you see? How many see many, many colors? And if you're colorblind, it might be a little difficult. But if you're not, what are the colors that you see? Do you get the feeling that, let me throw out some words and see if this could be some feelings. Alone, solitary, desert island. Any of those kinds of things come to, a storm is brewing, off into the sunset. Is this sunrise or sunset? Is this beginnings or is this endings? All right, so that one was a little bit easy. I'm going to give you a hard one now. And I want you to put on imagination, imagination. And this next picture I'm going to show you, I want you to think about activity. What activity could be going on? And I want you to think of it as adding to it, almost like you could create a story. In fact, I'd like for you on your paragraph, your next paragraph, create a story of the picture that I show you. All right? Do you see that? All right. Describe what you see, pick adverbs, and somebody tell me a story. What do you think is in this picture? What do you think's happening? So write it down in a paragraph. I'm going to give you more time this time. So do you remember the chair that you sat in when you came up to ask me questions? Could somebody go and put that chair back where it was? Slide a chair over to the front there. Somebody do that for me, a volunteer. Yeah, if you don't mind, that'd be great. Just somebody put a random chair there. Right there in the front, yeah. Yes. Okay, terrific. Now turn it around so that it faces the class. All right. I need one person to sit in that chair and tell us your story that you just wrote. Public speaking, come on, you guys, get up there. Yay, thank you, I got a volunteer. Come on up. So tell your classmates the story of what you were looking at. So go ahead.
I'm here.
So you guys speak really loudly.
What I saw was there were people walking across the street to their jobs. I'm guessing that the job they were going to was pretty depressing. That they're homophobes, like, so probably pretty depressing. Like, that is a job or something. Honestly.
That's good. That's good. All right, mask back up. Mask up. All right. Somebody else. We heard about a story, people going to work. Somebody else.
I couldn't see it very well because it's black and white, but to me it looked like they were children, like they looked smaller. So I said it looked like children walking to school, and then I like made up, I was like, they're probably from the same little town, walking into the city to go to school. Their parents like, how part of the blue collar working force.
All right, very good. Very good. So now we got people going to a school. All right. Somebody else?
Okay, this sounds like very floating, like kind of scary, but my mind went to ortho because he's very depressing and like scary and that's for a lot. So I saw like my people trying to, they're not running and it's kind of like formal. So a lot of people trying to escape this that's going to forward and they know it. And so they're all trying and go to some sort of translation.
Yay! All right, you guys are doing great. You're getting it. All right. So what we're trying to do is to illustrate that one picture can have a whole lot of different stories to it. When you are telling your story, your part of your story, you want it to be clear. You don't want people to bring something else into your story. So if you're talking about going to work, help everybody to feel the tension, the anxiety, the worry about what you're going to be doing at the job and did you bring your lunch and all those things. As opposed to if you were doing the school or walking, kind of mindfully. I want you to really, really use a lot of descriptive words. All right, details, details, details. Now, the next one is going to be a meme. All right, so I'm going to show you a meme. And for this one, everybody's going to talk. All right, so if you guys could, I want to see everybody and I want to see you all talk. So let's do, okay, you know this chair that's right here right now? Can it slide over just a little bit? Can it slide over to the side just a little bit?
This side or?
Probably, yeah. I'm opposite you. Yes, that side. Can it, you can move the table. Yes, yes. All right. And I'm going to show you this. Now, everybody is going to think fast on your feet, right? You're all going to tell us a story. Go look at this meme, and you're going to make up your own, all right? Now, actually, but I do want you to write some things down on your piece of paper real fast, okay? Because I want everybody's to be a little bit different. So pull it back up. All right. Can you see that meme? So it's now come up with a story to describe what that scene is. All right, so who wants to go first? You don't all have to go, but I need at least 3 people to come up. Oh, gosh, I love it. You are good.
I said there was a spider on the stove, so she turned the stove on thinking that would kill it. And then after she noticed that it wasn't working, she's supposed to put paper towel. Didn't want to touch the spiders, and then she just left the dead spider in the paper towel on the hot stove.
All right, good. Next.
So we went to the store and it was kind of weird. Everyone's there, and she's so nice, like a crap, not really. And she found a pair of matches on the countertop that we used for fire pit a couple weeks ago. And we saw a spider recently, which is kind of toys. And so she thought, oh, might as well kill spiders. And so she took the match and she lit the fire on the spider, and then but the fire didn't go out. The fire kept spreading, and then the entire house went down. And parents thought it was just the stove off because the stove was on. And okay, it was just the stove. And that was
Good job, good job, good job. All right, that's enough. Okay, so I wanted you to also take a look at the facial expressions of that little girl. Did you notice how she was kind of had a smirk on her face and she was looking through the corner of her eye at the camera? And she looked all cool, calm, and collected while all the drama was going on behind her. And through that whole process, you wonder, was she evil? Was she sweet and innocent? Was she, who knows? All right, good job. All right, so because you have a big assignment due, what we're going to do is go ahead and break early today, but we've got the chair there in the front. So before you leave, if you have a question, come on up and ask me about your speech assignment and your outline. You can just turn the chair around so that you speak into the camera, and I just want to give you some one-to-one time. So. If you don't have any, you're free to go. Otherwise, stick around, ask your questions, and I will give you some assistance.